Fundy Footpath is the most challenging wilderness trail in Atlantic Canada. It's remote, it's rugged, and it's beautiful.
You want to have a lot of hikes in before you go on the footpath. You need to know what you're doing when you get out there.
I'm Bruce Prasad. Should I say my last name?
Okay, there you have it. Craig Norris, you are the producer, director, not the star. You're the cameraman. You're everything for this documentary, Surviving the Fundy Footpath. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit what we just saw.
So, Surviving the Fundy Footpath follows first-time hiker Bruce Prasad as he attempts to complete one of Canada's toughest multi-day hikes. So, he was going to spend 5 days on the Fundy Footpath. And this is a guy that had never slept in a tent, had never really been to a campfire before. So it was all new to Bruce.
So what give you the idea to do this in the first place?
It's basically we're trying to address a communications problem with the footpath. It's a great trail, but if you go out there and you don't know what you're doing, it can be kind of a dangerous place. There's been search and rescue missions on the footpath, a few over the last 5 to 10 years, but more importantly, people are going out there and when they're unprepared, they're not having a good time and they're not really enjoying the footpath. So we wanted to come up with like an entertaining way to show what can happen when you're not properly prepared for the path and to get people thinking about what they should be doing to get prepared to hike the Fundy Footpath.
How long is the Fundy Footpath?
It depends on, which era you're looking at. Traditionally, the Fundy Footpath was approximately 40 kilometers that basically stretches from Big Salmon River to the western boundary of Fundy National Park at Goose River. Mm-hmm. Very soon, I'm not sure exactly when, the coastal trail in Fundy National Park is going to be added. Nice. And I think that's going to bring the net distance of the trail to just over 60 kilometers.
Wow. Is that the Fundy Footpath? Is that the one that goes from Riverview, like from all the way to Fundy? Or
no. So you've got a few different circuits in this area. So the one that starts in Riverview is the Dobson Trail.
Right.
And that goes to Fundy National Park and connects into the Fundy Circuit. And then from the Fundy Circuit, you can go into the Fundy Footpath. So the Fundy Footpath either starts in St. Martin's and ends in Elma, or you can do it the reverse of that.
Wow. Now the photography or the video is stunning. I mean, that must have been pretty exciting to be able to film that, just to be able to witness that, to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm born and raised from New Brunswick. I love this place. I've been working on nature documentaries in the region for a long time, and anytime I get a chance to kind of, I feel like this film is kind of an invitation to the world to come and see what New Brunswick has to offer. And I've always felt like New Brunswick has a little bit of an identity crisis. We kind of have low self-esteem. So anytime that I can kind of, take a really beautiful part of New Brunswick and yes, show it to the world, but also just show it to other New Brunswickers to kind of give us that little bit of a confidence boost. It's, that's an important thing to me. It's always fun. And yeah, I love having a job that makes me hike the footpath. That's cool.
So you got in good shape. So we don't want to give away the ending, I guess, but how did he make out in the end? I mean, how arduous was it for him?
It's an emotional roller coaster, man. Yeah. Bruce, I mean, it was a very transformational experience for Bruce. In the beginning, he's very excited, like most people are when they're going on a big trip. But I think pretty quickly he realized that there's more to hiking than walking. So I think in a way he had kind of underestimated just the nature of hiking, and I think a lot of people do. That's not an uncommon mistake.
Well, when you say that, in the name like footpath, sounds very relaxed. If it's a trail or summit or something, but a footpath, in my mind, sounds like how hard can it be? So maybe the same frame of mind.
Yeah, that definitely should not be what you're thinking about when you hear footpath. Basically, a footpath means it's barely a trail.
Oh, really?
It's been beaten down by people's feet. You know, so
Okay.
it's not like a manicured groom trail that you would find in Moncton or Riverview or even in a Parks Canada trail. Like this is just, you know, it's basically, you've heard of like deer trails and bear
Yeah.
trails, rabbit
Yeah.
trails. This
Yeah.
is a people trail, just
okay.
made by people's feet. So it's rugged and it's very, very steep. You basically, when you go, you know, the distance of that trail, you climb in and out of 18 ravines.
Wow.
If you do the whole thing right from visitor center to visitor center, you hike 63 kilometers or so, and you gain 4,000 meters of elevation, and you lose it.
Wow.
So, you know, you're typically coming up maybe 200 meters out of a ravine, and then you're descending right back to sea level, and you do that 18 times.
Wow. So do you have to bring all your own gear, like the food, water, everything, or are there places where you can fill up on water along the way? Or
Water is about the only thing that you wouldn't bring, but everything else you have to bring. Because there's 18 ravines, there's 18 rivers, so you can fill up at all the rivers. There's also a lot of seeps and brooks through the way, so access to water is not a problem on the trail at all. But you do have to purify it. You can definitely get sick, you know, if you're backwoods camping, you never want to drink untreated water. But for the most part, you're carrying everything you need on your back for 5 days.
and so you had the extra burden of carrying camera equipment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you had to keep things to a minimum too, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I got my camping gear down to about 18 pounds.
Oh.
So I can carry all my food, my shelter, all my clothing, all the equipment that I need just to survive out there with about 18 pounds, which is awesome. You can pretty much skip through the footpath if you only have 18 pounds in your back. But then when I put my camera gear into the equation, it got me up to about 60 pounds.
Whoa, 60 pounds
Yeah.
on your back
Yeah.
that you were carrying.
Yeah,
Oh
and then
my
the
God.
other, that wasn't even all my gear. Like the guys were carrying other stuff for me. You know, Ben carried a tripod head for me, and Mark carried some batteries. So it, you know, they were probably, Ben was probably close to 60 pounds. Mark was probably up between 50 and 60. So that's ideally you want to shoot for something between like 20 and 35 pounds, right? So,
Yeah.
but all those guys have tons of experience and had done it before, so
Wow.
they could handle it.
Was there any time that anybody said, all right, that's it, I'm done. It was a nice project, I'm not doing it anymore. Get
No.
the helicopter, fly me out.
No, I mean, we had Mark. He's the trail master, so he's got he grew up on the footpath. His dad is actually the founder, and Alonzo is with us. Ben's done the footpath 10 times, so like none of those guys were going to pull the pin. Like it would take some kind of horrendous injury for those guys to like not complete the footpath. Bruce, he had a hard time, you know, like by day 3 he hits the wall and, you know, pretty much collapses on the trail. But even Bruce, I think he was getting pretty close to wanting to quit, but he would never say it. You know, like he wouldn't admit defeat.
He sat down and wouldn't move, and weep, but he wouldn't say it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was worried at the end of day 3. I was like, oh my God, like we might not have a movie here. Like, you know, Bruce might
Or a
tap
very different
out.
movie.
Yeah, or like the end of this movie might just be me and Ben finishing the footpath by ourselves, you know, but you know, he kind of he rallies. It's like I said, it's an emotional roller coaster for Bruce.
That's exciting. Well, so what are the next stages for the film?
Well, we've got a test screening tonight as part of Festival Inspire. We're super excited about that. I'm really proud to be part of Festival Inspire. I think what they're doing for our city, for those that don't know, Festival Inspire gets muralists from all over the world to come into our downtown and put up massive murals in the downtown. And I think that's super cool and something our city really needs. So we're super happy to be a part of that tonight. And then we have 2 more test screenings in kind of our tiny town tour in St. Martin's in Sussex.
Nice.
And then we're gearing up for our submission to Banff. So the Banff International Mountain Festival, we'll submit there and cross our fingers that we get in. And if you get into that festival, you can qualify for World Tour. And if you go on World Tour, your film goes to 40 countries and gets screened 900 times. So
Wow, how cool is that?
yeah, we have our fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, so tonight, where's the screening?
Screening tonight is at, it was originally planned to be an outdoor screening, but because of the wet weather we've had for the last week or so, we're moving it inside. So it will be at the 3rd floor ballroom at the Aberdeen Cultural Center.
3rd floor ballroom, Aberdeen Cultural Center tonight.
Yep, right in the downtown. Doors open at 8:30. Show starts at 9. It is super sold out, so don't show up if you don't have a ticket. We'd love to get everybody in, but we can only fit a couple hundred people in there. So
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. Well, you must be pretty pumped. I mean, that's big stuff.
yeah, I like quit my office job 10 years ago to pursue being a photographer and a filmmaker, and like 10 years ago in May, so this film came out right around that time, and we've had 3 sold out shows now, you know, in the last 3 weeks, and yeah, it's definitely a high point for me. Like, this is a dream that I never thought would come true, you know. So sold out shows in my hometown is awesome.
Nice, good for you. Well, Craig Norris, thanks very much for coming in and telling us about your project, your film. I know that Robin at the office saw it at a screening earlier, and she was enthralled. And I'm really excited to see it myself, and I can't get in tonight, but I will be seeing it at some point. And certainly the trailer is it looks great. Just the cinematography and just the story, it's going to be super. So all the very best, and we look forward to maybe getting a Golden Lion at Cannes. Who knows? It could happen.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks a lot.